Obviously, spoilers for Red Dead Redemption 2, though it's been out for quite a long time, so maybe this is unnecessary. To anyone who played it, Red Dead Redemption 2 hit like a freight train through a paper plate. The impact on the game on its player base is undeniable, and any number of video essays, even just slightly related to cowboys or the so-called Wild West, will at some point go all soft and sweet and talk about the famous Arthur Morgan and how much his story touched their hearts. The care that was put into bringing the game to life cannot be understated, and as of writing the script, the game has a 98% overall rating on Steam, and I myself have little critique of the narrative, gameplay, and presentation as a whole. A rather brief glance at any negative review reveals two major complaints. The first one being the online play is boring, and the second one being the game is too realistic. As someone who doesn't do online play, the first didn't bother me at all. As someone who loves realism and wishes D&D had a spend 30 minutes role-playing repairing your armor mechanic without boring everyone around you, I wish the game was more realistic. Both of those negative reviews thusly play little part in my complaints, but are obviously valid nonetheless. What interests me more is the inherent conflict between the story the game wishes to tell and the gameplay that happens outside of it, represented brilliantly by the ever-present bar at the bottom of your screen when you pull up the minimap, which I should be able to disable without the game punishing me for it. God damn it, the graphics are too realistic. I can't see the enemies without looking at the minimap, and I fucking hate it. Release me from this prison. Anyway, the honor system. To summarize it quickly, good acts give you honor, bad acts take it away. If you have a playthrough with a lot of good acts, you get high honor Arthur, which gives you the good or the, true ending, however you want to see it, the best that Arthur can get. Whereas doing a bunch of bad stuff gives you the low honor ending and also low honor Arthur. Which route you choose is fully up to you. No problems there. My quarrel is with this. The game's story asks a starkly philosophical question with Arthur Morgan. How much good does it take to repent for the bad you have done? And how much bad must you have done for redemption to be impossible? The gameplay answers the question like this. You may shoot up an entire town and rack up a sizable bounty outside of story missions so long as you catch and release 50 fish after. Arthur is in a constant push and pull with the people around him, characterized by the people who like him as well as the people who don't. He is loved by the women in camp, and Grimshaw continuously prepares his bed first, and he and John are the only ones with dedicated rooms in Shady Belle prepared by the loving hands of the women around them, as well as liked by the gentle men like Charles, Lenny, Hosea, and Trelawney. He holds special status to the men around him, the only one next to Dutch and maybe Hosea who doesn't have to take watch, a fate not even John is spared from, and it is felt by the people around him. Uncle and Bill call him out for it at one point in the narrative, and Sean talks about him having to live up to the old dogs of the gang. The people who dislike him, primeval Micah Bell, envy him for this position of relative power and despise him for it in equal parts. The privileges also come with a great deal of responsibility almost nobody sees. As you are playing, you will notice, so long as you actually play the game as, in quotations, intended, through the ledgers and so on, that Arthur is the primary breadwinner of the gang. Pearson relies on him for provisions, and while the majority of the gang provides funds as well, there's a sizable difference between John's 25-cent Batwing and the multiple gold bars Arthur can contribute to camp funds. Of course, most of this is based on how you play it and how you choose to interact with it, as well as the story missions that have a general cut for camp funds that you personally can't take away from them, but the really liquid money that you can use to upgrade the camp and restock provisions, it all comes out of Arthur's pocket. Like, if you look at the ledgers, there's almost never a moment where I don't see Arthur contributed this, Arthur contributed that, Arthur contributed that. Whereas everybody else is way more sporadic, and still, if you don't contribute enough in a short amount of time, Grimshaw will come and she will tell you to contribute because you're not doing enough. Trust me, this is still about the honor system. Arthur Morgan is a man yoked by responsibility in a gang that preaches freedom. The narrative tells a story of redemption not through the public eye, but through the eye of oneself. High or low honor, Arthur provides the basis for the Marstons' semi-stable future. He can't undo his actions, but he can do this. The gameplay says, so long as you stay just good enough, there is no inner world consequence to bad actions beyond a bounty you can pay off by doing more bad deeds. There's not even a point at which one is locked out from the bad or the good ending. One can be bad up until the last mission, go fishing and say hello to a bunch of people, and you're good. Do the reverse, and no matter how good you were, you have lost your right to the true ending. If it is so easy to get the good ending, what is the incentive the game gives you to do good? Typically, when you look at a review of the game, the creator will tell you, do a good playthrough first, then do a low honor run. I, like many others, decided to take that advice. So as I was playing my low honor save file, I glanced at said suspicious bar of morality down low and realized that I had fallen squarely onto the right side. I decided enough was enough, and when I found a man camping with a horse I liked, I decided it was time and I stole it from right under his nose. Just 20 meters later, I turned around and I gave the man his horse back, spirits thoroughly broken and tail tucked, called my horse to me a white roan Nakuda I found in the wild, and tamed myself, and I rode away on the horse I loved. Safe to say, many people have more fun being bad than I do, but ignoring that, the fact that so many people are drawn to a high honor playthrough, evident by most analysis pieces only acknowledging the high honor Arthur for their arguments, shows that the game manages to establish an emotional consequence above a technical one. The bemoaned realism, see horses, balls, and cold weather, is paramount to achieving this goal. What I mean is this. Justice won't come for Arthur Morgan, but reality won't wait for him. The game presents you with a variety of natural consequences. If you fall face first into the mud, your front will be muddy. If you skin a deer, your hands will be bloody. If it rains, you will get wet. If your horse gets shot, it will die, sort of. If you don't wash, you will stink. If you don't shave, you will grow an unruly beard. If you fail to kill an animal cleanly, you will have to finish the job and you will feel bad about it. If you put your morals aside to beat a man who cannot pay off your usury, you may just end up dying from the tuberculosis he didn't deserve to get. The construction of Arthur is brilliant in making you not want to be bad, at least the first time around, or the second time around if you're like me, but you don't have to be. It is fine to be bad in this game. He is an outlaw after all. He is an orphan with a mother who died too early and a father who died too late, born into poverty and crime, picked up at 15 by gangsters with a golden heart, at least one of them. He's never had the chance to go straight because by the time he had Mary, he was already in too deep. Arthur cares deeply for the people around him, and for him loyalty is the highest of all honors, so he could never leave his family, even for the woman he loves so dearly. It is this loyalty that drives him to do better, to be better, and save who can be saved, and try to help those who cannot help themselves. Many times throughout the narrative, Arthur expresses feeling out of control, like there's something else steering him, that he thinks he's finally lost his mind, a rather clear meta joke about the player stepping into the role of the outlaw Arthur Morgan, but it reveals something about him as well. He thinks himself crazy, but he doesn't want to be bad. In one of the campfire scenes, Arthur Morgan says this.
I don't want to die. But if I have to, I will.
For the gang, Arthur will die. For the gang, he will steal and kill and maim. For the gang, he will do the dirty work of a usurer, even though it goes against his internal moral code. Killing for pleasure is against what Arthur believes in. It's a tool, not a hobby. He knows he's not better than the men he kills, but he would like to be. If we, as the player, go against what Arthur Morgan wants to be, we betray him. So even if the honor system is too binary, too black and white, too X amount of good will make for X amount of bad, most players will implicitly be drawn to do good and be good because it's what makes Arthur Morgan, killer, thief, outlaw, and resident baby girl happy. Don't believe me? Listen to Sister Calderon. She says, every time I see you, you are smiling and helping people. This is what would commonly be referred to as an intrinsic motivation. It is what makes you stop on your way to Saint Denis because a man got bit by a snake in the bayou, or help the woman on the back of an abuser's horse, or in my case, kill some members of the Mud-Free brood because they are kidnapping people and then taking and caring for their horse because they neglected it, knowing I won't be able to keep it because I already filled all the stalls in the stable. It is what has you riding around the map instead of fast traveling, engaging with the world around you, chatting with the people at the campfire, bringing Sadie a harmonica, even though the process is confusing and unclear. Okay, so maybe there's a bit of extrinsic motivation going on as well. To summarize, I think the realism of the game makes you care about the characters in a unique way because it is not realistic for the sake of getting the best graphics award that'll be obsolete in a year when the next big thing hits the market. It is all in service of creating a world and people you care about, people you can relate to, even if you're not a 35-year-old white cis English immigrant named Arthur. Everything the game does is in favor of creating immersion, not just so that you feel like an outlaw at the turn of the century, but that you can fall in love with this specific one. Furthermore, good or bad ending, what the game tells you is that redemption is never impossible. You can choose to do good at any point, and so long as you commit to it, there is no one who can take that away from you. So, do I believe the honor system is flawed because it essentially tells you that a set of good but completely unrelated actions will make up for one bad one? Yes, I do. Do I think the game could have done better? No, probably not. It is still a sequel, having to hold to the template provided by the original, and it uses that template well. You are an outlaw, but the game makes sure you kinda sorta wish you weren't, and it manages it that well enough that I just used it as an excuse to ramble about Arthur the same way so many have done before. There's no reason to say more, because everybody has already said so much about this game, so much more about this game, has done countless of analysis pieces or fun engagement with the title, and most people are much smarter than me. I have no idea how or why they chose to do the honor system the way they did. I just think sometimes it could be a bit tighter. I wonder frequently, does putting a fish back into water actually make you good? And my point was, probably not in real life. But then you realize that's not really what the game is asking of you. The game isn't asking, is Arthur Morgan a good man or is he a bad one? No matter what you choose to do, if you make it to the epilogue and you've played through the epilogue and you're finally free once again, even though even there I feel bad leaving John's ranch, because leaving his ranch means leaving his family, the family he's sacrificed so much for, that Arthur has sacrificed so much for. Doesn't matter. If you leave and you go to Valentine and you talk to Mary Beth, who's a writer now, free of the life she used to live, you can also talk to an old veteran at the side of the road who wants a hug. He will talk about Arthur if you talk to him, of course. And he will say he doesn't remember Arthur's name, but he knows he was a good man. And John will laugh and he will say, I'm not so sure if he was good, but he wasn't all bad. And I guess that is the point. The game lets you do the bad thing because Arthur Morgan is not a good man. He says so himself many times, even though everybody around him disagrees. He is not a good man, but he is honorable within himself. If you kill too much, he will comment on it. If you kill too many animals without needing their food, needing their pelts, needing their meat to sustain yourself, he will comment on it. Putting a fish back into water is not so much a good deed as it is an honorable one because you are not taking more than you need out of the ecosystem. So maybe the honor system is not flawed at all. Maybe my complaints about it, maybe what I call its limits aren't limits at all. It's just a differing point of view. Either way, I might make a part 2 to Ramble about Micah and Charles, because they are closely linked to Arthur's morality, but we'll see when I get to it. I hope you enjoyed. You can like or subscribe, and what you should do is boot up the game, go kiss Arthur Morgan on the noggin, and give him a bath, because he's earned the rest.